everybody. I'm Beth Shero. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Shero Commerce. Welcome to our Shero Commerce Live. I'm excited that you're all joining here today. We have a great topic to discuss, Shopify and B2B. There's been some buzz about where Shopify is headed with the B2B features and what they're offering. And we really just kind of wanted to show you what's going on and our capabilities in the B2B space. So I'll be joined by Adi. That's going to help do us some demos and talk about his experience with our B2B customers. I'm excited to dive in today. So welcome again, and let's welcome Adi to the conversation. Hello, Adi.
Hello, Beth. Nice to be here again.
Yay, and you're actually in the same office in New York with me, so welcome to New York.
Yes.
For the newcomers to our live, can you give a little intro so people know your background and who you are and your specialties?
Sure. I'm Adi, Director of Solution Architecture, which means that I work closely with clients and with a production team to make sure that we capture the right requirements. I'm always up to date, whatever is going on the e-commerce world, and I'm here to be the bridge between clients and our team. And I'm doing this for 7-8 years now, and it's getting more exciting every day.
Yes. You did do QA back in the day too, so you have a lot of different skill sets.
Yes, I try to not dive too deep into details most of the time, but
we both have that urge. Okay, awesome. So I thought we could just start off a little bit talking about, I think every B2B business, there are definitely some trends, right? And similarities, but there are some things that are unique to each business. So I just kind of wanted to walk through, from our experience, some of the trends that we've seen and how B2B businesses tackle their online experience. So I just wanted to pull up a couple of examples if we can bring up my screen with Just Right first. So Just Right, they actually have multiple brands. And I think this one is pretty interesting because they wanted to create a streamlined experience and automate as much as they wanted. What B2B business doesn't want to automate and, improve business efficiencies. But this really helps you see the different brands, but still streamlining that experience. So like if you purchase from Eagle, you might want to purchase from one of the other products. And before we worked with them, it wasn't consolidated. So people didn't know that the brands were under the Just Right umbrella. So I know this is kind of a pain point for some B2B customers that have multiple brands. And this is a great example of how we've tackled that for this customer. Adi, do you have anything you'd like to add to their implementation?
Yes, for Just Right, they had different websites, and we ended up combining them all in one, having the same messaging because more or less the products are the same, and we unified the areas of the business that were the same between the brands, and we separated the messaging and additional other features that were unique per brand. So approaching it like this, it was very easy to streamline the user journey, but most importantly, to streamline the operation from the client side so they don't have to maintain 4 different brands.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love that consolidation, streamlining, big win for them. They've saw amazing results. And then we'll shift gears to the second scenario. So this is like a pretty standard wholesale B2B scenario where you're literally just allowing your customers to purchase online with tiers and variants of quantity and with terms and different payment options. And I had kind of have a slide after this to kind of walk through what those high level features look like. But I can think of 2 examples that we've worked with, NASCO and Sifron. These are very like B2B centric, like focused on collecting quotes and purchasing and really making it as simple as possible. So this is like a pretty standard, scenario in the B2B world that I think most of us think of, where you're selling to, maybe mom and pop stores, distributors, resellers, and just allowing them to order in bulk as easily as possible with their unique pricing. So I love to, show these two examples, how, creating that experience where they can service themselves essentially and streamline that process is a big win for a lot of businesses. Audie, anything you want to talk about with your experience with businesses with B2B that kind of just go that route to minimize and make it an easy journey for the customer?
Yes, I think it's key understanding and capturing what the end user needs.
Right.
As you initially mentioned, each B2B is unique, but the majority of them have some common features that they need, like terms, quotes, etc. So where the challenge usually comes is on those unique needs that each B2B customer has, and there is where the conversation goes between myself, for example, as a role to try to simplify things as much as possible and provide solutions based on the rule and not based on the exceptions. So usually
Right.
that's how we try to approach it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you brought that up because I was actually just talking to a customer yesterday and they were like, how do you decide if you use an app or customize? And to your point, I think it's really understanding the business needs and having hard discussions in some cases. If you can use an app that does 80% of what you need, can you live with that? And that's kind of like what we're dealing with in the Shopify world, I think, is a lot of businesses that I've talked to recently that are interested in using B2B with Shopify are willing to um, change some of the ways that they operate. And I think it's a very interesting shift that's happening in a good way, where they want to do more with less, sort of speak, but also like make it as easy for themselves and for their customers and minimize like their overall implementation costs, which is such a high thing to actually get all of that in one, right?
Yes, and unfortunately, on the B2B world, instead of trying to make all of the customer profiles happy, it's easier to build what works for the majority of them and share it with a strong message and change the user behavior for those edge cases. And eventually, that is what will affect more the conversions compared to trying to please everyone because it's almost impossible on the B2B world.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now I want to shift gears and I have two more scenarios. So the next one is interesting. This is with Body Art Alliance and one of their brands called Painful Pleasures. So Painful Pleasures has been a customer of ours for nearly 10 years, which is crazy what a journey we've been through together. When we first started working with them, they actually had three websites. So they had direct to consumer, they had wholesale, and a distributor website. And they were trying to manage all of that and have unique pricing and manage the inventory that updated with their ERP. And like they just had a lot of challenges that they wanted to streamline. So what we did on Shopify is really helped create that B2C experience in a B2B world and kind of create this hybrid approach where if you're a B2C customer, you don't even realize that it's actually set up for B2B customers. So it's really an interesting blend that they've done to really streamline their tech stack and make it easier for them to manage. Adi, I know you have a lot of personal experience with this one, so maybe you want to add more there, but I think it's very
Yes.
unique use case.
Yes, this is actually really unique because you cannot tell that it's a B2B website actually. And depending on the quantities that you are buying and the type of the products that you are buying, you automatically get the B2B pricing that applies to the order totals, etc. Which doing it like this, because they serve different type of customer groups in a very big industry, instead of dealing with B2B portals and to apply to create an account and having different shared catalogs between each customer, a different approach was to just automatically apply the pricing based on what you're buying. And that streamlined a lot their internal operations and, of course, the end user customer journey.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this case study because it really does live and breathe how B2B wants that B2C experience. And I think they've done an excellent job at that. Okay, so the final scenario, and obviously there are so many more we could probably talk about, but I just wanted to highlight the big trends that we see here is maybe you're a manufacturer that wants to focus on B2C. Obviously, you're still selling wholesale, but you don't want to upset your resellers and distributors. So great case study for this is STX. Great brand, they're selling globally. And they really see this as a catalog. So, in a recent conversation with a potential client, they were like, I really want my website to be a catalog so people could feel like what the products would be like, but also streamline it so they could, easily check out or learn more of where to check, purchase in person. So I think this is a good example. If you are thinking about going direct to consumer as a manufacturer, where you can create that really great experience without upsetting your resellers, which is a fine balance in some cases. And again, Adi, I know you have so much experience with this brand. Anything you would like to add to that?
Yes, I think like this is the other side of the coin compared to
Mhm.
painful pleasures, because on this case, the B2B customer, um, since they are wholesalers with brick and mortar stores, etc., they want a very, very unique experience. So on this case, we could not combine the B2B experience and the direct to consumer on a single uh, platform and the user experience. So again, it goes back to what is the business need and how the B2B operates, and based on those conversations and requirements, we approach it accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's not a one size fits all, but I think this hopefully gives you a little flavor for some of the bigger brands that we've worked with in the B2B space and how we can support you. So now I'd love to dive into the new features in Shopify. If we can bring up the slide deck, that would be great. So, I think we've been hearing about B2B in the Shopify space for quite some time, but now we're actually seeing a lot of momentum here. And I don't know if it's, the nature of where we're at in the year that we are in third quarter now, or that it's maturing so much with the latest editions release. Who knows what the answer is? Maybe it's all the above, but there's a lot of great new features that's been released that we want to start walking you through. And we have a couple of scenarios to actually show you in the Shopify admin and on the front end of that experience that streamlines this process for your B2B customers. So some standard things, obviously all the different payment terms you need on B2B, creating those personalized company accounts, unique pricing, volume pricing, bulk ordering. I mean, you can read the list. There are so many different things that we need to think about in the B2B space, requesting quotes, that all these things that we can talk about that really create that streamlined experience, not only for your customer, but also for your sales team, for your customer service team, IT, all of the above. So this is really about how do we create an experience that's better for your business to grow long term. Next slide, please. Awesome. So just a quick snapshot. There's a whole lot of information on the Shopify website if you haven't checked it out yet. But it's really great to see how this is maturing and growing. And they've actually released a B2B Shopify theme that allows you to get started with the features. If we can go to the next slide. So it's called Trade, and I think the great benefit of this is that it works with all the features. So, you don't have to worry about doing customizations or anything like that to get up and running. Anything that's released will be supported by this theme. So if you use a different theme, those features need to be added. Most of them are not working with the new features out of the box. Adi, anything you want to add to that? Because I know you're going to talk a little bit about this.
Yes, I think the conversation on Shopify is for simplicity, that's minimizing the cost of ownership, not needing to do constant updates, etc. So Shopify releasing a theme side by side with their B2B features removes out of the equation the need to do constant updates and compatibility fixes. So for the merchants, this is a big win, having it compatible from the start.
Awesome. Yeah, we're super excited about it, and eager to see, it come to life with some of our customers' branding. And to actually show you how this works, we've put together two different scenarios that we want to show you. If we can go to the next slide. So the first one, and Audie and I are big fans of The Office, so we had to use Dunder Mifflin. But we wanted to show two different scenarios. The first one is really about the business side, so streamlining and creating effective processes that empower your team to be more effective. So time is money, right? We really need to do as much as we can in a limited amount of time, and time is money. So, what are the goals of this? We want to make sure that your sales team and your customer service team can easily manage your orders and fulfill. We also want to make sure that this experience is as seamless as possible so that when a sales rep is working with a customer, they can increase the average order volume and help with retention and purchasing. And that's the great benefit of this. We also want to make sure it allows you to be agile so you can continue to grow and have all your data. I know that, having data and understanding what's going on your site is really critical to a lot of businesses and can help with your marketing long term. So Audie's going to jump in here and walk through the Shopify admin with the B2B features, company setup, payments, catalogs, pricing, and draft orders. So I'm going to let him take over the screen to walk you through this first scenario so you can actually see it happening. I think it's really powerful than just kind of talking about it to actually see it in action. Passing it over to you, Audie.
Yes, thank you, Beth. Okay, so I will try to keep this as short as possible because I can talk about this for hours, and we'll go through the key features of the Shopify B2B capabilities. I set up a demo store here for demo purposes, and we'll start with a Shopify admin experience first, and then we'll move on the front-end experience for the end user. First, we'll start with the companies. This is available by default on all Shopify Plus instances. Then you can go to, I've created a Michael Scott paper company here. Let's say that they're competing with Dunder Mifflin, as Beth mentioned. To talk primarily for the key areas here, we can set up specific payment terms for each company, and we can require a deposit on each order if needed, for example, 10% on all orders. Another key feature is to edit the checkout capabilities. Maybe you want, if the relationship with that particular customer is not very strong, all orders need to go as draft for review. For example, they can use all of the locations that are set up per company or not. So these type of setups, then you can set up and manage different locations per company. Let's say that the company has 5 locations that they purchase, and you can assign how many users can purchase per location, depending on who is managing that specific locations. And you can manage that here on the customers. I've created 2 customers for this company. And of course, company notes in case something is really important to note it, and the sales rep that can be assigned to each company. That way they have a dedicated person to communicate and work with. The next nice feature that I wanted to show is the catalogs that you can create for each company. So I've created 2 catalogs on here that are applied to the Michael Scott paper company. The first one here, you can assign as many products as you like. This can apply to all of the company locations or on some, and a percentage discount or a price increase if needed, depending how you'd like to manage it. Then the other catalog that I've created here, we have 2 nice features that currently are available only on the B2B, which is minimum and maximum quantity, and price breaks, or tier pricing, how it's called differently, which are currently released only for the B2B, but we expect these to be also released for the B2C customers, because it's a big need that we end up using usually third-party apps or to customize these. Here you can define the minimum quantities that the company can purchase, the maximum, and of course the increments. And here on the price break, you can set up price breaks. For example, above 5 is $3,000, above 10 is 2,500, etc. So this is the key features that you can set up per company on the admin. Of course, I can talk for more, but these are usually from our experience that most of the customer needs, like payment terms, specific catalogs, specific pricing per customers, company structure, who does what users, locations that can be managed, etc., etc. And then the next one, I'd like to move to the front end, what end user sees essentially. This is the trade theme install that we discussed before. And on the front end, I can start with predefined quantities on this product. For example, as you can see on the admin, you can add quantities of 10 on the card. So the nice thing with the trade theme is that essentially this is a product with variants, with options, and automatically the theme shows them like this. So you imagine having a product with 100 variations. It's very easy for the end user to add products to the cart with a plus immediately. And the moment that you click the plus, and as seen here, 10 products are added automatically to the cart. And then the next feature is the price variations, as so on the admin above. This is the initial price of this product. So if I buy 5, the price gets updated to 3,000, and if I buy 10, the price gets updated to 25,000 per unit, per item. So having these features by default, and very easy to be customizable, and having an open API to integrate with the ERP and any order management system that the B2B customers are using, makes this very easy to set up and manage, of course. Then if I go to the checkout, as we saw on the admin, here you can pick one of the 2 locations that are defined on the admin, and you can of course have the permission or restrict the permission to add additional locations. And here you can tell the net terms for 7 days that the invoice need to be paid in the next 7 days, and of course the 10% that is due today that need to be paid. Of course, this is a very nice feature that was released recently to get a percentage of the invoice paid on the order placement. Then going on the account section, here we can see the orders that are placed, the due for the payment, and there are additional configurations on the admin that we don't have time to show, where you can send reminder emails to the customer to pay the invoice, etc. And of course, here we can see the details for the order, and a very nice feature where for customers that they tend to buy again and again the same products, you can add all of the products for this past order to the cart immediately. You can do the necessary changes if needed. So imagine having an order with 100 line items and complete the order very easily with 2-3 clicks.
Awesome. Thanks for walking us through that, Adi. So that, with this, you can really see the ease of use of how to set it up out of the box. Like Adi said, I think, the question might be from a lot of our B2B customers is, well, how do I integrate that with my system? I don't want to have to manually go do that for every customer. That could be very time consuming, right? There are APIs that are specific for B2B that we can integrate with to push and pull that data. It's just amazing to see how you can streamline the experience for your customers, especially if you're already selling direct to consumer on Shopify. This is a nice addition for your business. I know you kind of breezed through the demo. We did have another slide talking about the customer. If we can just bring that up here. So I think we mentioned this in the beginning, around the B2B world, wanting that B2C experience. And, like we gave the example of painful pleasures, this experience that Audie even showed you is really streamlining and really looks like a really smooth experience for your B2B customers. The other benefit is the site allows you to search, filter, recommend products with AI. You can easily give discounts, and it's easy for them to create an account and check out. So it's a pretty seamless experience. They don't have to think about it as much. And if they're already used to using ShopPay, then, it just makes it that much smoother and easy. So very excited to share this. And if we can go to the next slide, what Adi showed was really just scratching the surface. Like he said, we could talk about this for quite some time. The exciting thing is that Shopify is heavily investing in these features, and if you go look at their changelog, you can see every month they're releasing new updates, which aren't minor. These are like pretty big features. Adi, do you want to talk about this? Because I know you were a bit skeptical when you started looking at this earlier in the year of where this would play out with Shopify.
Yes, that is true. Actually, like 4 or 5 months ago, I set up a demo like the one that I did today for an existing client that we have that they are looking at moving to Shopify, and I was not very excited, to be honest. It worked very well, but it was lacking some of the features that we've seen on other platforms. And spending more time with it, and especially yesterday and today that I set up the demo that I shared before, and seeing the change log, they definitely investing a lot on it, and actually seeing the change log here, all of the sections that where it says new, those are not small features, but are big features that affect a lot the capabilities of B2B, and it helps a lot because for my role especially, I'm very confident when it comes to talking with potential clients, saying that you can do this and this, and seeing the pace that Shopify has releasing such features every month or every other month, and seeing the history, they are doubling down on it and continuing to release these features. I mean, what we see now in 6 months or 1 year time, it's going to be way more feature rich compared to the current state of the B2B features.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. Like I said, there's a lot of buzz around this. They are continuing to invest. So it's great to see the momentum here. And, as there's more updates, we'll be sure to share them with you. If you have questions, obviously, please reach out. If you want to see a demo, we can set that up for you. If you have experience with the B2B features, we'd love to hear from you. What has your experience been? There's a lot we can all learn from each other as this evolves and changes. And we're all about trying to service our customers in the best way possible. So just really want to empower everybody to use the tools that, are there for you, and streamline things as much as possible, and we can help you with that. Adi, any closing remarks before we wrap up today?
What I would say is, because the demo that I shared, for example, it took me around 30 minutes, having the experience and having spent endless hours in the past. But what would help a lot is each B2B merchant have their own specific needs. You can reach out, maybe send like a high level list or detailed list how you operate your B2B, and we can set up a specific demo tailored to your use case, so we can review and help you out make a decision and discuss further.
Awesome. Yeah, good point. It is very important to understand your goals and what are must-haves for your business, right? And where can you be flexible? Awesome. Thanks so much for joining, Adi. We really appreciate your time and investment here. It's deeply valued. So again, thank you everybody for joining. Next week, we will be at eTail East and the Retail Summit in Ohio. So Candy will be there. And at the end of the month, I'll be at the Big Commerce Summit. So we have a lot of things going on this month, which is super exciting to wrap up our summer and great momentum into Q3. So once again, thank you all for joining. I hope you took away something, or if you have questions, or feel free to set up a meeting with us and reach out. Thank you so much. I'm Beth Shero. Always be learning.